though it had been stripped from the heavens and ironed flat. 1,000 lit windows scattered like sequins on the dress of the night. Agnes called to her from inside. Finally. She had said it would only take 30 minutes, 15 to set up, 15 for the exposure. She'd already been up here longer, and Francis was getting all balled up. He should be here soon.
"Have you still got it?"
Agnes called again.
"Yes,"
Francis shouted, pushing the word away before the wind could throw it back. And yet still, she didn't move. One last look. She needed a smoke to mark the occasion. Undoing the button on Stan's other pocket, she pushed her hand in, rooting around just in case. Her fingers trembled as they brushed against damp cotton, loose matchsticks, and a few mucky dimes. Finally, she caught hold of something. It wasn't a ciggy, it was the note. She pulled it out, fumbling in the cold. Whatever happened, she mustn't let it go. It was only a few lines, but they'd spent so long agonizing over the words, the right tone, the most convincing lie. Without it, no one would believe them. As soon as that filthy hood arrived, they'd persuade him onto the balcony. Agnes would distract him so Francis could press the note into his pocket. Then, they'd both shove him over the edge with all their might. Chapter 2. Kansas to New York City, 12th of September, 1932. 6:25 p.m. The long grass whipped and tore at her ankles. Marsh flies plumed upwards in disturbed clouds. She beat them away, but didn't stop even when they stuck to her cheeks and caught in her hair. Whatever it took, however far or fast she had to go, she'd get away. The heavy bag nagged at her arm to rest. She shouldn't have crammed it so full. Perhaps she shouldn't have brought it at all, but her whole life was in there. Almost 2 decades of living folded up in a tattered case. More things than most people around here, thanks to Stan and his money. Nothing of her was back in the old house. Not her things, not her body, not even her mind. That had gone months ago, long before she'd run outside tonight. They could keep their memories of her, that was all. And her mother had the shoes and Francis's fading picture and that often pawned locket wrapped around her throat. But nothing else. That was enough. She slowed down for a second to switch arms, giving the right one a rest until it stopped screaming. It felt strange to be running at her favorite time of day. Usually, she'd have finished with her chores and pulled a chair onto the porch. She'd have taken out her sewing or her cross-stitch, or something that needed mending. She'd gotten up to L in her child's alphabet. It was her favorite letter to sew, straight down and across. A tiny curl at the top and bottom, like a baby's tongue. Nothing fancy, but she'd saved her best dark red thread for it. She would have been sitting there, toes keeping the chair rocking, listening to the birds gathering, to the hooting, whistling calls of "come home" and "I'm here" and "danger," looking up every now and then to brush away a fat moth, or to see if the fireflies were dancing over the scorched grass. Never again. Now her breath caught jagged in her throat, and her thin cotton dress stuck to her back. The cracked leather handle of her bag felt strangely slick in her sweating hand, so heavy there might have been a body inside, not just her clothes. Blood rushed in her ears until a shot rang out, splitting the air. The bullet hit the old oak on the corner of the field, the one she and Stan had scratched their names into all that time ago. Rotting bark splintered. It was a warning. Father wasn't trying to hit her. He was upset. She knew that. And he was a crack shot. If he'd meant it, she'd be dead by now. But it stunned her all the same. It stunned her so much, she stumbled as she began to run again, and fresh tears fell onto her sore cheeks, flowing down the itchy trails of all the ones that had fallen there before. She was too far away to hear exactly what Father was shouting, but she had an idea. He was probably saying she was rotten, that she was a good-for-nothing liar, that she could clear out. All the things he'd shouted at her 1,000 times before. She knew Mother was inside, trying to clean the grease off something, pretending she couldn't hear. Or perhaps she'd run out onto the porch again by now, and she was clutching that dirty apron she'd worn every